Can I have a hoodie back?
No.
I don't know what to say with you around because I normally do vlogs by myself. This week's theme... She's not. This week's theme is politics.
Camera.
Sorry, Mum.
Can I just say click for the one? Hawaii.
Pardon? Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
I think I'll just do this vlog myself.
Yeah.
I had prepared so much stuff on what I was going to say, and now either I did not save it, or I've just lost it and it's somewhere on my computer and I'll find it like weeks later when it's of no use to me whatsoever. Basically this week's theme is politics, specifically the general election which is happening in May. It can be argued that it's going to be one of the most important elections in the past few decades, mainly because there's a possibility that it could be a hung parliament, which basically means that the percentage votes for each of the three main parties is relatively the same, so that they kind of get the same number of seats in Parliament, so there's no clear majority. This is a problem because then no legislation will get passed, and then everyone gets a little bit and it seems to be Conservative, Liberal Democrats, Labour. Not looking too promising for Gordy. Personally, I don't know too much about politics. I did, last year I did modern studies, so I should really know about it. I know how it works, I know how the voting system works, I know how the seat system works, I know who the three main parties are, Labour, Conservatives, Liberal Democrats, and I know there's the Green Party and the BNP, the SNP, all that stuff. However, I haven't really been paying too much attention, so I haven't really watched the debates, which there have been three of, and apparently, I think the one that was on last night, I think Nick Clegg came out on top, or was it David Cameron? It was either one of them, because it definitely was not Gordon Brown, especially after what he said to that woman who said something about immigration. Apparently she said something, I heard her on the news, and she said something along the lines of, where are all these Eastern Europeans coming from? Oh, I don't know. Eastern Europe? And then Gordon Brown called her a bigot while he still had the microphone on when he left, and oh, the journalist must have had a field day. I haven't really been taking too much attention because I'm not old enough to vote, and I shouldn't really be taking that attitude. I should be more interested because by October time I will be able to vote. However, I don't think there will be a general election right after I turn 18. But I still think that we should be aware of what each party stands for. I do vaguely know. I was trying to do lots of research for this video, and I went on a website and I was looking at the manifestos for each of the three main parties, and I started reading them and I got so bored. And that's where I think the problem is. People get bored of politics while reading, which is why they have the debates. Which I think is a really good idea because it puts the leaders on the spot. I think it's important that we do take an interest though. I've been very apathetic this year. I also think young people in general don't take enough of interest in politics. They don't believe that it really affects them, or it's not their thing to deal with. But in a few years' time it will be, and they will have that right to vote. And some people are just not informed enough to actually vote properly. I hardly knew anything about politics last year. Before I took modern studies, I knew there was a House of Lords, I knew there was a House of Commons, I knew we had a Scottish Parliament, but I didn't really know how the voting system worked, I didn't know how the seat system worked, I didn't know who all the main parties were, or if they were left wing, right wing, all this stuff. And there's some people who still don't know, and they have the right to vote, and because they're still not truly informed of how each party ticks, they choose not to vote, which doesn't really help with the democratic side of things, because if not everyone's voting, not everyone's having a say. If you don't vote, then you don't really have the right to complain about the government, really, is how I look at it. Because you could have changed that. If you and all the other people who decided not to vote had voted, it would have turned out differently. So yeah, it's a really difficult decision. And according to this, voting begins in 5 days and 14 hours. So you'd better get deciding. I can't believe I lost it. It was so inspirational and meaningful and I lost it, and damn, it sucks. Now who do you think you'll vote for, and if you're underage, who do you think you would vote for if you were 18? And do you take an interest in politics, or are you quite a laid back person who doesn't really take to just another thing? Thanks for watching!